Well, what a day.
Well, Abigail Keam is probably the most prolific writer we have here today. She writes 3 different series in 3 different genres. Cozy mysteries about a beekeeper, and by the way, Abigail is a beekeeper who has won a lot of prizes for her honey. Also a fantasy series, as well as, how would you describe it?
A sweet romance.
Sweet romance, yes. There are so many categories of romance. At the Last Chance Motel.
Sweet means, in the literary jargon, means no sex.
Oh.
When you say sweet or clean and wholesome, there's no, maybe a kiss here and there, but that's it.
Okay.
It's more about relationships. So they invited me to read a little bit. I'm just going to read you just a little chapter in each book. One is Death by Haunting, which is the cover of the book, and this is the prologue. And my protagonist is named Josiah Reynolds, and she's a beekeeper, and she's 50-some years old, and she's a good person, but she's not very nice. She sometimes lacks Southern manners.
Oh.
But she always wins in the end. She always comes out on top of the end. She always finds her man who did the dirty deed. But anyway, the prologue in Death by Haunting. Mr. Bailey, who lived up Tate's Creek Road from Josiah Reynolds, was awakened in the wee hours of the night to find that his covers had been pulled off. His growling Jack Russell Terrier and clinging orange tabby were lying so close to him as to be almost pushing Mr. Bailey off his new mattress. "What the?" mattered Mr. Bailey, as he turned to push the cat away and questioned his wife of 47 years. "Mavis, what's going on?" asked Mr. Bailey, as he turned on his side to face his missus, wide-eyed and sitting straight up against the headboard of their new poster bed, staring into a darkened corner of their bedroom. Mavis pointed towards the corner and croaked, "Mama's here." Mr. Bailey followed his wife's outstretched hand, pointing to the dark corner where indeed stood his mother-in-law, Cordelia Sharp, wearing her favorite blue seersucker summer dress and lavender wig. The only problem was that Cordelia Sharp had been dead for 7 years. So I guess we know who's haunting who. So Death by Haunting. And we have Josiah go in and straighten everything out. This is my latest book. This came out in October, and I have one coming out Tuesday, Death by Malice, but this is Death by Design. And everybody knows, been in Kentucky a long time, these were the columns from Elmendorf Farm, the mansion that burned down in the 40s. And this is all that was left were the 4 columns. A lot of people have wedding pictures taken there. But you see there's a man hiding behind one of the columns. But anyway, here we go. Irvin S. Cobb once said, "To be born in Kentucky is a heritage to brag about. To appreciate it is a virtue." That's great, but who was Irvin S. Cobb? He was a Kentucky boy who went to New York and became the highest paid staff reporter in America in the early part of the 20th century. He wrote 60 books and 300 short stories, many of them about Kentucky. In fact, he became known as the Kentucky writer, even though he spent most of his life in New York City. It seems you have to live somewhere other than Kentucky to write about it. I wonder if New Yorkers flee New York in order to write about the Big Apple. But that's where I am now, New York. I found New York, this is Josiah Reynolds talking, I find New York is nothing more than a collection of villages jumbled together with no particular rhyme or reason. Still, one does not expect to run into someone she knows back home amidst this collection of villages, where there are over 8 million souls. The odds are overwhelmingly against it, right? So what happened to me had to be fate, right? I was strolling down 75th Street on Upper East Side when I heard someone call my name. It's hard to stop and turn around on a sidewalk in New York when a gazillion people were trampling in the opposite direction. I thought I was imagining things, but then I heard it again. Josiah! Josiah Reynolds! I ducked in a hallway and cautiously peered around the column. There indeed appeared to be a roan-towned woman wrapped in a beige cashmere coat with matching leopard print hat and gloves, hoofing to where I was hiding. I mean waiting. Okay, I was hiding. Out of breath, she started to go into the building under whose portico I had taken refuge when she spied me behind the marble edifice. Josiah Reynolds, I thought that was you, and then I said, no, it couldn't be you. Jean told me that you were visiting New York, and then I should call you, and that's exactly what I was going to do this afternoon, but then poof, there you were right in front of me. I never thought my luck could be that good. She peered closely at me. You are Josiah Reynolds, are you not? The woman who lives next door to Lady Ellesmere? I was tempted to call you Josie. Josiah is such an unusual name for a female. And you are? I asked. Hey, I wasn't going to admit to who I was. This woman could be a bill collector or a hitman for all I knew. Don't jump to conclusions. I am not paranoid. I am Bunny Witt of the Philadelphia Wits, not to be confused with the Boston Wits. They spell their names differently with an H. I said. And why is Bunny Witt of the Philadelphia Wits calling my name on 75th Street? Well, I'm no longer of the Philadelphia Wits. I live in New York now, and when I'm not in Kentucky for the racing season. But if I'm not in Florida, you know, for the winter, I can't abide those frigid winters in New York and Kentucky anymore. I had to have warmth for my feet, you know. No, I didn't know, I muttered, watching Bunny's hand flutter about her face like an injured bird trying to take flight. I was just going to call June and ask for your number when I looked up, and there you were. It's amazing. I prayed about this, you know, only last night. But seeing you the next day, I didn't think God produced results that fast. I interrupted. Mrs. Witt, I'm very sorry, but I had no idea what you're talking about. Of course not. I haven't explained my problem yet, have I? I am so desperately in need of your help. She clutched my hand that wasn't holding the cane. You know, the cane with the wolf silver head? Please say you will help me. You simply must. Finally aware of the befuddled expression I was displaying, she pulled on my arm. The Carlisle Hotel is just around the corner. Let me buy you a drink at Bellaman's Bar, and I can I can explain my predicament. She gave my arm a little tug. Just give me 20 minutes, please. You buying? Assuredly. In that case, you can have 22 minutes of my time. The anguish in Bunny's face eased a bit and she smiled. I heard that you had a quick tongue. New York brings out the Dorothy Parker in me. If you thought that was witty, you should see me after more drinks. I'm more Oscar Levant than Oscar Levant. Bunny's face went blank. I don't mean to sound obtuse, but I have no idea of whom you are speaking. Do the Levants own a horse farm in Lexington? I started to whip out a sarcastic barb, but why waste my considerable talent on this harebrained tootsie? Should I squander time explaining that Oscar Levant was one of the great scathing wits of the 20th century? No, I would keep my quips to myself until someone worthy came along. Right now my leg was hurting and I needed to sit down. To tell the truth, my dogs were barking, so Bellaman's Barn sounded just fine and dandy if the drinks were free. So thank you. Anybody have any questions?
What's the title of this book you read?
Death by Design.
Oh.
Death by Design. It's about this woman has a stalker, Bunny Witt, not to be confused with the Philadelphia Wits. And she has a stalker, and what it is, her great aunt had a Indian lover, Maharaja, who gave her gems in the 20th century, early 1920s. And she hid them before she died, and everybody's been looking for these gems. So the stalker, well, I can't give it away, but anyway, there's a couture exhibit in order to flush out these gems, so that's why it's Death by Design. And they are discovered, but I can't go into any more about it. But Josiah's at the end, the very end, and facing the stalker, and but sometimes she does lose the battle, but she wins on this one, and it has a happy ending to it.
So there's another Josiah that's coming out.
Yeah, it's Death by Malice, and that's coming out on Tuesday.
So what are you working on right now?
Right after that, it's a pre-order, something like this, like, will Amazon get it out right? So once that the Tuesday goes well and Amazon does what it's supposed to do, then I'll start working on the final book of my fantasy series. It will be the 5th book, and that will be the end of that series. And then I'll start a new series. I only write usually one Josiah Reynolds book a year. It takes me 6 months to write one. There's a lot of history, so everything has to be fact-checked and tightened up. You know, you write maybe 60,000 words and then you delete 10,000 of them because it goes nowhere. You know, you just 10,000 words and you just get rid of a lot of. I like to write very tight stories, very tight. I don't like a lot of rambling. I want one scene to push the next scene. I've always admired James and Cain, Dashiell Hammett, and I try to write very tight, sparse sentences like they do. And I do try to make my books funny. And I try to put a lot of cultural references in it. Like one of my characters, her best friend is Matt Garth, and he looks like Victor Mature. Because that was my mother's favorite movie star, Victor Mature. And so I talk a lot about Victor Mature. Victor Mature had a very funny wit. He says they wouldn't let him in a country club one time because he was an actor. He wanted to join this. And he goes, "I'm not an actor. Haven't they seen my movies?" And he always said, "I act with my forehead." He goes, "That's my accent. I act with my forehead." So if you watch him in The Robe, where he's standing at the foot of Jesus, Richard Burton's over there, gambling the robe away, you will see that it's all done with the forehead. Yeah, it's all done with the forehead. That's an amazing little scene there. But I tweet a lot about him, and his daughter contacted me because she has a website about her father, and she contacted me and she retweets my tweets about him. And I said, buy one of my books. They can read all about Victor Mature all you want. So anyway, so I talk a lot about film noir. Like Josiah is a big nut about film noir, so I always talk about Double Indemnity and all these, Gaslight and these movies. And then I talk a lot about things around here. I talk quite a bit. I forget which book it is in, but I talk quite a bit about Berea, the foundation of the school, the college. And then the Day Law in 1904, where they segregated everybody. So I write quite a bit about that. And I had people email me from all over the world saying, "We never knew that the bluegrass was so exotic." And so much violence. So it's a lot of fun. This is my flagship series. They're a lot of fun to write. I love Josiah. We share the same humor, and but I will say she's brighter than I am, and she's certainly braver. I would never do many of the things that she does, but you've got to have a heroine that goes out there and do stuff. You can't have her just sit home. She's got to get out there and do stuff. And I just love her to death. I think she's, even when she's her brattiest, I think she's fabulous. Fabulous. I mean, when you get to a certain age, ladies, you've got to go down swinging, because otherwise you just disappear. Isn't that right? So she never does it. She swings it out with gusto, and she has all these quirky friends, like her next door neighbor is Lady Ellesmere, who married a gay duke. And it was a marriage of convenience. When he died, she got all the jewels and the money. She came back home and bought a horse farm. She's from Kentucky. So, and they're always having tea together, and just a lot of fun characters, and they banter. I think they're funny. I hope they're funny. I hope you chuckle a little bit, but yes,
you read was very funny.
Oh, thank you, Miss Judith.
So will you have Josiah age? Or will she stay in her 50s?
Well, we started out when she was 50, now she's 53.
She's aging slower
She's
than we are.
it's like Kinsey Milhone of the Sue Grafton book said she's been 36 for 25 years. She started at 32 and now she's 36. And I talked to Sue Grafton one time. We're not big close friends, but if we at the same book fair, we'll talk business. And she says, "I get so tired of people writing me and asking, well, why don't you just use a cell phone?" And she goes, this is in the 80s. There is no cell phone. There is no computers. Or, you know, and she's, you know, okay, why is she always using index cards, you know? So I had people always write me, well, why is Josiah? Because it doesn't take place, it was written in 2016, it takes earlier in the part of the earlier 21st century. So people are always, well, why is she doing this? Because it doesn't take place now. It takes place a little bit earlier. So anyway, so I love these books and I love the covers and I just love it.
Who did your artwork?
I had a local people do it. I noticed posters all around Lexington and they were very different. I never seen anything like it. So I contacted them, Cricket Press, and I said, would you like to design a book cover? And they said, well, we've never done that. And I said, well, would you try? And they gave me 2 selections and they were both fabulous. And I picked the more female-friendly because this is more of a female-driven book. I don't think men like to read about women having tea and saying witticisms to each other. But a lot of men do read it, but it always surprises me. And they've done all my books. Now I have somebody from Sweden do my covers for the sci-fi because that's a particular art style. And it has to be done by an artist that just does fantasy cover. And now they do covers for many, many books. So I was happy to open the door for them. But they're fabulous artists. They really are. And they're local, which is what I appreciated.
And who's publishing?
I do.
You do, okay.
Mhm.
And can you say just a little bit about that? I know you're almost out of time.
Publishing, well, an indie publisher is a business. And you've got to hire editors. I fired 4 editors. You go through editors like cleaning. A lot of people say they're editors, but they're not. And there's different types of editors. You have line, content. There's different types. We have Lightning Source actually print the paperback books, and we're going to start using also Create Space, which is Amazon as well, because you have to go through Lightning Source to be on Ingram's catalog for libraries, and Create Space you have to use because Amazon won't push your print books unless you go through them. So we'll be doing both to kind of satisfy both people. And then everything else, I have them formatted from a fellow in Thailand.
Wow.
It's formatted by a person in Thailand. I used to have someone in India. They were charging me $400 a book and it took 2 to 4 weeks to get it back. This guy charges $60 a book, formats it perfectly, and gets it back in 2 days.
Oh.
So you have to hunt. You have to hunt around and talk to other authors and everything like that. I will continue. The Death by Malice will be the 10th book, and I should celebrate that because it's very unusual for a series to go that far. Usually 3 books in a series, and that's it. It's usually a trilogy, and then it just dies. But she has a loyal following, and I cannot feed them fast enough. I just cannot feed them. You have to wait a year, or 6 months away. I just can't. She needs a rest. Now, where do I get the ideas? Sometimes I dream the ideas. The opening for Death by Haunting, I dreamed that, and when I woke up, I wrote it. That is almost verbatim for what I wrote when I woke up.
Wow.
Just longhand, just.
Do you find you dream about your character?
Yes, that's how she was born.
Yeah.
She just kept coming in my dreams, and she needed to be born.
Yeah.
And others I read, the Death by Malice is something that happened in my neighborhood. It was a murder-suicide, and it happened 2 roads away from me. And I took many elements of that story and put fictional into it, but the idea was, I heard my neighbors discussing this. I didn't even read it in the paper, and they were discussing what had happened. Some woman had taken all her money out of the bank and set her house on fire and burned the money in it. And destroyed her husband's self-employed, destroyed all his records and everything. So I took that and made a murder out of it, and she jumped off a cliff.
So, Abigail, you often incorporate friends and acquaintances into your
Oh,
characters?
don't ask that question.
So how, has anyone ever come after you doing that? You know, like.
Nobody ever recognizes themselves?
They don't?
No, they don't.
Oh, my.
Especially if the person's a little, they never recognize negative qualities. But they always say, I have gay characters because Lexington has a huge gay population, and it has always been that way historically. So to talk about that, I like to talk about race relations in my book, the gay factor in the book. Somebody wrote, the best review I ever got was, Mrs. Keam writes very witty, very funny books about very serious subjects. So I talk about the historical race relations, about Cheapside, where that was the slave market, and all sorts of historical. I love to write about Daniel Boone and Simon Kenton and the women pioneers who are never discussed anywhere. And I like to incorporate that in my story. Death by Bridal. I'll get back to your question in just a minute, Jude.
We need to wrap up.
Okay, and Death by Bridal was based on a true story. That's a scandal that happened at the UK football team. It's based on a true story. But yes, I do incorporate, and Franklin is based on a friend of mine.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.